And this is complementing the wonders of creation that also points one to understand and realize that there must be a creator. There must be a wisdom that is infinitely wise, an intellect that has infinite intelligence, and mercy. You know, Sheikh Karala was reciting from Surah Al-Rahman. And even this is a sign for those who reflect that there is that Allah is the creator of the heavens and the earth. Ar-Rahman, Allama al-Quran, Khalaqa al-Insan, Allamahu al-Bayan, Ash-Shamsu wal-Qamaru bihusban. People don't realize, often reflect enough. Ar-Rahman is the name that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses at the outset of this wondrous surah. Ar-Rahman. How is he introducing humanity to him? What names do we utter more than any other? Bismillahir Rahman Ar-Rahim. Most gracious, most merciful, overflowing with love. Ar-Rahman in the first verse is what we refer to in Arabic as a fa'il. It is a doer. This fa'il is doing something. And the name used is Ar-Rahman, the one who is most gracious, the most merciful, overflowing with love, is doing something. What is he doing? Allama al-Quran. It is Ar-Rahman that introduced the inimitable speech of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the living miracle. And then the first verse is then connected to the third verse. It's not first, second, and third. The first verse is then connected to the third verse. Why? Because again, something is being done. Who is doing it? The fa'il. Who is the fa'il? It is Ar-Rahman. He's doing what? خَلَقَ الْإِنسَانِ. It is Ar-Rahman that created this pinnacle of creation, which is the human being. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not ask the most noble creatures to prostrate to the moon. He does not ask them to prostrate to the sun. He does not ask them to prostrate to the solar system, the Milky Way, the universe. He asks them to prostrate to who? Adam alayhi salam. Ar-Rahman is the one, it connects to the third verse, created insan. Ar-Rahman, out of his mercy and his grace, implemented within the human being the faculty to be able to communicate, to understand, to be able to illustrate their issues and understand the issues of others. Illustrate their concerns, illustrate their ideas, illustrate their vision in order to share that with others. And then we move to the celestial bodies. It is Ar-Rahman who was the one that created the sun and the moon following a decree and a measurement that is not simply good calculation. The word in Arabic, its root derivatives, means a meticulous calculation, illustrating perfection. Do you not see, O you with the inquisitive mind? For the universe to exist, there has the gravitational constant. What do I mean by gravitational constant? There is somewhere, in some place within the universe, some section of the universe, that has a force in which it is drawing everything into itself. This is called the gravitational constant. And the control of the expansion of the universe is reliant on this gravitational constant. A physicist theorized that had this gravitational constant been 3 centimeters to the left or the right, up or down, diagonal this way or that way, the universe would not exist. It is He, Ar-Rahman, that created the universe with such perfection. And now we have to also look further and study further and analyze every single creature in the world around us. Every creature, every single creature has its needs provided for it. A horse needs something to eat, it's been provided for. A horse needs something to drink, it's been provided for. You know, it has the fur and so forth to protect it from its elements. It needs protection from the elements. It's been provided for. A bird needs food, provided for. Water, provided for. Materials to build its nest, provided for. Trillions of creatures have trillions of things provided. Every single need provided for it. Trillions of things provided for it. It stands to reason, therefore, that the human being also has needs, don't they? The human being also have needs. We need food, provided for. We need water, provided for. We need things to build shelter, provided for. We need things to build our clothing and so forth, provided for. What else does the human being have that no other creature, clay-based being on the earth doesn't have? Who can tell me? Come on. I usually make my lectures far more interactive, but I think because we're fasting, everyone's just... What else do we have that the trillions of other creatures do not have?
Intelligence.
Sorry?
Intelligence.
Intelligence. Very good.
Wisdom.
Okay. Intelligence leads to what?
Choice.
Thoughts leads to questions. Yeah? So the human being has a mind that asks questions, doesn't it? That's a need. So can't we assume that if the trillions of needs have been provided for, that this has also been provided for? And how does that providence come? In what form? What is that providence? How has this been provided for? Who can tell me? Who am I? Where did I come from? What is this magnificent artistry? This wonder, why the perfection in the universe? Where am I headed? Is this the only existence that I will experience? What's the purpose of this experience? Where does the need for those questions to be answered come from? Has that been provided for? Who can tell me? No? The Quran! Isn't it? Isn't the Quran the key that unlocks the mysteries of the universe? Without it, would you know where you came from? Without it, would you know what your purpose is? Without it, would you know what your end is? Without it, would you know what happens after your end? It has been provided for. And so, looking at the Quran, it again complements the wonders of the universe, the perfection of the universe. It complements the emissaries of God Almighty, their perfection, their greatness, also stating that there is only one God. And it itself is a living miracle. It's not a miracle in which you have to rely on other eyewitnesses having seen it happen. Jesus raised the dead by God's permission, for example. Musa a.s. split the sea by God's permission, for example. That somebody witnessed it once upon a time, they wrote it down, and you have to have faith that that's indeed what happened. But the Quran is not like that. When the Quran was recited, people didn't embrace it because of its message per se. A lot of people that embraced it because they understood that this level of Arabic cannot possibly be produced by the human mind. It is not something from the natural order of things. It has to be something supernatural, and they embraced it. Even his opponents accused him of what? That he's producing these words through supernatural means. That he's a magian, he's a sorcerer, he's this, he's that. They understood that it was supernatural. And this is why God Almighty, out of His love and His mercy, remember, it is Ar-Rahman connected to Allama al-Quran. It is Ar-Rahman connected to Khalaq al-Insan and so forth. He wants to make it easy for creation or for sentient beings to believe in Him. Not difficult. That's why there is such complexity in the universe. So complex that the most intelligent minds are needed just to be able to start deciphering it. That is why there is artistry in the universe that it is unfathomable for one to believe it came about by accident. That is why the prophets are so unique, their character so miraculous, that it is unfathomable. One cannot fathom that it would come about by a neo-Darwinian